football wants Carlo Ancelotti. Everybody knows that. He's the first option, he's the first name in the list, he's the main target of CBF. But what we know here is that the decision is not up until CBF, because Carlo Ancelotti, in every press conference where he is, he always says that he wants to remain in Real Madrid till the end of his contract. He has.
Fala galera que vive futebol, tudo bom com vocês? Hoje veremos um bloco completo da ESPN FC, a ESPN lá da Inglaterra, falando sobre a possível ida de Carlo Ancelotti à Seleção Brasileira. E o Gustavo Hofman, que cobre a La Liga para a ESPN Brasil, foi convidado para falar sobre o assunto de Carlo Ancelotti na Seleção Brasileira. Vamos ver o que eles estão falando sobre a situação da ida de Carlo Ancelotti à Seleção Brasileira. E aí, o que vocês acham? Carlo Ancelotti é uma boa para a Seleção Brasileira? Será que ele vem mesmo ou não? Vamos ver o vídeo.
So, well, we are talking Spanish football, front page of Marca. Ancelotti, a year in 3 games, those 3 games being that Copa Semi, Clásico, and the 2 Champions League meetings with Chelsea in the quarter-finals. Let's welcome in Gustavo Hofman now, who covers La Liga for ESPN Brazil. Ancelotti talk. Welcome in, Gustavo. So great to have you back with us. It just seems to be inevitable that Carlo Ancelotti is leaving Real Madrid at the end of the season. Why exactly?
Hello, Kale. Nice to meet you again. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Well, CBF, the Brazilian Federation of Football, wants Carlo Ancelotti. Everybody knows that. He's the first option. He's the first name in the list. He's the main target of CBF. But what we know here is that the decision is not up until CBF, because Carlo Ancelotti, in every press conference where he is, he always says that he wants to remain in Real Madrid till the end of his contract. He has 1 more year in his contract. So Carlo Ancelotti, in every press conference, always says that he wants to continue here in Madrid with Real Madrid. But what we know also here in Madrid is that if Real Madrid doesn't win the Champions League, only that, if Madrid doesn't win the Champions League, probably Carlo Ancelotti will leave. But if Madrid wins once again the Champions League, and no one can doubt about Madrid, there is a big possibility that Carlo Ancelotti remains in his spot in Madrid. So CBF wants Carlo Ancelotti. The Brazilian Federation wants Carlo Ancelotti. He's the main target. He's the first name in the list. But Carlo Ancelotti wants to remain here because he has 1 more year in his contract. If he lives here, this will be a natural move. If he leaves Madrid, go to Brazil and train the Brazilian national team, it will be a natural move for the Italian coach. But now we have to wait. We have to wait for these games, especially for the match against Chelsea, because the title in the Copa del Rey won't change anything for Madrid. Champions League, yes, it can really decide the future of the team and also the coach of Madrid and the Brazilian team.
I know we know Real Madrid's history with this, Ale Moreno, but if Carlo Ancelotti is to not win the Champions League here, does it make sense to you that they would get rid of him?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's getting rid of him. I think Carlo Ancelotti knows full well what the landscape is at Real Madrid. And he knows that this is a club in which you either have to win La Liga or you have to win Champions League. One of the two. And if you're not doing either one of those, Copa del Rey, as Gustavo just mentioned, is simply not enough. When you sign up to Real Madrid, these are the expectations. And so I don't think Carlo Ancelotti was naive or thought that it would be any different. In fact, I think his second time around at Real Madrid, he looked at it as, I'm already winning. Just being here, this is already winning. And having done what they were able to do last season in Champions League and going in that magical run that needed so much help from other people, but also needed that magic from Real Madrid that we've come to expect, I think that may have been sort of the crowning achievement, if you will, with Real Madrid. And whatever happened this season would have been a bonus. And what we have seen is that that's the way that Real Madrid have played. In La Liga, disinterested at times. And in Champions League, similar to last season. They're looking for yet another magical run. If they put it together, he sticks around. If they don't, he'll be more than happy to pack his bags and go to Brazil. It's not it's not as if he's going to struggle. If Carlo Ancelotti wants to work, he's going to find options out there and some of the best options available. And what better option than to be essentially a part-time manager, which that is what you are as a national team. As a national team coach, you're a part-time manager. You go and evaluate players and you go here and there and everywhere, but you're not working all the time. So it would be perfect for Carlo Ancelotti. As he's looking into retirement, this is his way of easing the day-to-day activities into the Brazilian national team, winning something significant with the Brazilian national team, and off he goes. Carlo Ancelotti is not stressed about this. I'm going to tell you that much.
Well, let's have a look at who might come in if he is to leave Real Madrid. These are who the bookies are going with when it comes to managers' names, the likes of Pochettino, Raul, Nagelsmann getting thrown in there. Huh? Zinedine Zidane to come back, Jose Mourinho to come back, Guti, Jurgen Klopp, many a name there, obviously Antonio Conte. Who do you think, Gustavo, will be the next manager of Real Madrid?
Well, here in Madrid, many people want Raul González, who's the coach now in Real Madrid Castilla. Xabi Alonso is also a name that many people here talk about it because he's Spanish, he has some history with the club. But of course, that these two names don't have aren't so international as Mourinho, as Tuchel now is in Bayern, but Nagelsmann a little bit more because he was in Bayern for some time. But I think that we're gonna have a Spanish coach here, maybe Xabi Alonso. My bet would be Xabi Alonso if Carlo Ancelotti really leaves after this season.
Okay, Xabi Alonso.
Can we give a shout out to the Buffalo Bills helmet in the background of Gustavo's shot? Hey!
Well, let me stick with you when we talk about. Let's go back to Carlo Ancelotti then, Buffalo Bills fan. If Ancelotti's to go to Brazil, do you think it's going to happen, first of all, is what I want to ask you. But if he's to go there, how's it going to be received? Are they going to be happy about this, a non-Brazilian manager for the Brazilian national team?
Yeah, this is gonna be a very strange situation for Brazil. But nowadays in Brazil, some time ago, people wouldn't like this idea. But now we don't have an unanimous head coach in Brazil, a Brazilian head coach, as it was with Tite in 2016. Nowadays, we don't have an unanimous Brazilian head coach. Some people in CBF talk about Fernando Diniz, who is a young coach in Brazil who likes the old style Brazilian game. He's very known, and people like him in Brazil because of that. Because he has no title. He's not so famous. Some people also talk about Abel Ferreira, who's the Portuguese coach of Palmeiras. But now people really want a foreign coach because we don't have this unanimous head coach, Brazilian head coach in Brazil. And Ancelotti is a name that everyone in Brazil likes. Some days ago, the president of CBF, Edinaldo Rodrigues, in an interview, he said that everywhere he goes in Brazil, the fans always say, we want Ancelotti, we want Ancelotti. So that's crazy because the people in Brazil really want Carlo Ancelotti with the Brazilian national team. Also because he has a very good relationship with the Brazilian players. So we always hear, and I talk to the players here in Madrid, Vinicius, Militão, Rodrigo, when Casemiro was here also, they're always talking so good about Carlo Ancelotti. And also two Brazilian legends talk so good about Carlo Ancelotti. Ronaldo Fenômeno, who now is the president of Valladolid, but is also a very key part of this whole story because he's very close to Florentino Pérez. And also Roberto Carlos, the left fullback of Brazil, one of the Brazilian legends, who works for the club, who works for Real Madrid. He's one of the ambassadors of Real Madrid. So the Brazilian Federation has some contacts inside the Real Madrid to make the things easy.